Iran had warned of consequences in the Strait of Hormuz, and now a commercial vessel has come under mysterious attack in one of the world's busiest waterways. Did Iran first threaten to shut the strategic Strait of Hormuz before a tanker was struck by an unidentified projectile near Oman? Are commercial tankers now coming under fire in the Strait of Hormuz as fears of a wider US-Iran energy confrontation continue to grow? A mystery projectile struck a commercial tanker off Oman's coast on July 31st, raising fresh questions over security in the Gulf region. The vessel reportedly suffered damage to its engine room, leaving it temporarily adrift before assistance could be arranged. Who was behind the attack on the tanker, and what will the UK Maritime Trade Operations investigation ultimately uncover? UK Maritime Trade Operations statement read, and I quote, "UKMTO has received a report of an incident 11 nautical mile northeast off Limah, Oman. The CSO of a tanker reports the vessel has been struck by an unknown projectile which has caused damage to the engine room. The tanker is not under command and the regional Coast Guard have been informed. There are no reported casualties or environmental impact. Authorities are investigating. Vessels are advised to transit with caution and report any suspicious activity to UKMTO." Unquote. IRGC-affiliated Fast News on July 31st listed major energy facilities in the Gulf and Israel as possible targets for retaliation. According to Iran International, the list covered energy sites across the Persian Gulf and offshore Israeli gas fields. The IRGC warned that all of these facilities sit well within the range of Iran's missile arsenal, making them legitimate targets. Iran International, citing Fast News, named, and I quote, Saudi Arabia's Ghor oil field, Abqaiq and Khurais facilities, the UAE's Ruwais refinery and Zarqam oil field, Qatar's North Field and Ras Laffan LNG facilities, Kuwait's Bergen oil field, Bahrain's Sitra refinery and Israel's Leviathan and Tamar gas fields. Unquote. The report also pointed back to Iran's earlier strike on Qatar's Ras Laffan gas facilities during the current conflict. Those Ras Laffan facilities were hit in direct response to Israeli and US strikes on Iran's South Pars gas field. On July 31st, Iran reacted angrily to reports that the US and Israel were weighing strikes on its energy infrastructure. A senior Iranian security official blasted the idea of such strikes as a kind of madness, warning of massive retaliation. Tasnim, citing the official, said, and I quote, "Iran has prepared extensive response plans that include targeting critical infrastructure of Israel and US energy infrastructure in the region, and that Tehran is prepared to carry them out." Unquote. Reports say the US and Israel are preparing possible strikes against energy targets inside Iran. CBS News reported the potential campaign on July 31st, citing multiple sources, as relayed by Iran International. The mooted US-Israeli campaign could hit Iranian power plants, refineries, and other energy nodes. Reports emphasize that President Trump has not yet given final approval for those strikes. Trump has ordered a new round of strikes on Iran that could start as soon as this weekend, according to officials. The Wall Street Journal carried the same claim on July 31st, citing US officials, as quoted by Iran International. Trump has warned Tehran it will face heavy military action unless it comes back to the negotiating table. In a cabinet meeting at Camp David, Trump vowed the US would be hitting them very hard.
Iran is doing very poorly, just in case you read incorrect stories. They're doing very, very poorly. They're having a hard time. They've been very dishonest. They've been very dishonorable to deal with. But that makes no difference. They're doing very, very poorly. Their missiles have been largely, they have some left. They have some, but they have far fewer than they had 4 or 5 months ago. Their manufacturing capacity is almost gone. The drone capacity is almost gone. There are very few. But they have some. If they have one, that's too many as far as I'm concerned.
On your orders, we started in March 2025. In December of 2025, the largest bank in Iran collapsed. The central bank had to print money, caused inflation. Now they got 180% inflation. They aren't able to pay their troops. And on your orders, we are searching for their assets all around the world, and that money will go to the Iranian people, Americans who have been harmed by the Iranians, whether the USS Cole or the barracks in Lebanon. or it will go back to when the Iranians attacked these ships coming out. So it's been a privilege to be part of that.
What is the status of talks? Who from the administration
Well, they
is
always
talking
want to
to
talk,
Iran?
but they break their word so often. Steve is talking, Jared, we have very good people. JD's involved, very strongly involved. We have great people talking. Marco's involved. They're all
They say
involved.
talks aren't happening.
Very good people. We have the best people. But they'll make a deal. As an example, we'll talk about nuclear. And we'll be in there talking about nuclear for 7 hours. I say, why do you need 7? You can take 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes. You should solve it. But 7 hours. And then they'll go out and I'll say, they discuss nuclear. And they'll go out and they'll say, we never discussed nuclear. And I say, why do they say that? All they do is make me angry. You know, you just make me angry. Any other questions?
Do you believe that you can reach a deal with Iran, given that you talked about how
Yes, you
disloyal
can.
they are?
I'm losing faith in them because they do lie and they do misrepresent. Well, the other day, the 5 missiles were shot. You know, we'll be hitting them. We'll be hitting them very hard. And, you know, at some point, they're going to say, we just can't take it anymore.
Iran's Supreme National Security Council warned on July 31st that it could move to close Hormuz again if US pressure continues. Tehran said ongoing naval pressure and military actions by the US would lead to the closure of Hormuz and other waterways. Mohammed Bagher Al-Ghoda said, and I quote, "The continuation of the US regime's naval blockade and arson will not only tighten the lock on the Strait of Hormuz but also close other straits and choke points. And the global economy, energy markets, and American voters will foot the bill." Unquote.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you'll have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.